Okay, so today we're going to discuss how to enter checks into Kashoo, which is the accounting app for United Carpet Cleaning. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up a browser. And it's good to note that Kashoo is a cloud-based application. There's no program on your hard drive, but you do have to have an internet connection to use it. So we'll open up a tab here in the browser and simply type kashoo.com. That will take us to Kashoo, and we need to go into the upper right hand corner here and log in. You're going to log in with your email address and the password that's been assigned to you. If you don't know your password, just contact me and we'll get that straightened out. So I have a password manager. I'm just going to log in with that, and it's going to come up here in a second, and here we're at United Carpet Cleaning Systems. Okay, this is the dashboard for Kashoo. There's a whole lot of things that you can do, but the primary purpose of this video is to look at expenses. So we go into expenses here, and we can enter an expense. The first field we're going to see is the date. It's going to default to today's date. It's important to know here that you should use the date of the check stub that you are entering. So let's say this took place on August 1st. Backdate that check stub. The second field is the vendor, and let's look at our vendors. We have vendors set up for most of the things that we do on a continuing basis. So the lady that cleans our office is Eileen Kelly. Let's bring her up. And where it says invoice number, I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We're going to put the check number. So let's just say 48424 as an example. We're going to pick the account that this was paid out of. This was paid out of Wells Fargo. That is the account right there. And we have to decide on an expense account. Now Eileen cleans the office. I know that there's an account called building maintenance, and I can find it if I just start typing. And there it is. So I click on the account. I can give it a description if I want, a little note about what was done, and I have, say, a check here for $50 for 1 week's cleaning. So that all looks good. We don't use the sales tax, and this is the only distribution we have. Everything she did was office cleaning, so we simply add that transaction. Okay, the transaction's added. You can see it down here. Now, let's say that for some reason we made a mistake. You can bring the transaction up and simply hit remove. Confirm that you want to remove it. And that transaction is gone. We'll hit go back, and you can see that it's no longer appears. Okay, so there's another type of transaction we do. Actually, it's the same type, but if we've set up a vendor, we can save some time. So let's go to Allied Insurance, and again I can start typing, and there is Allied Insurance. They're the vendor we want. Now notice that it has already picked up the Wells Fargo checking account here. It knows that. All we have to do is put in the check number, and it also knows that this is an insurance expense that we incur. So you could put the type of insurance, depending on what is on the check stub if it's specified, and then put in the amount. We add that transaction, and now we have it entered down here. These appear in date order. Again, this is our live set of books, so I'm going to come up here and I'm going to remove this transaction and then go back to where we were. So the question is how did Kashoo know what to fill in the terms or payment account and the expense account? And that's easy enough to find out. We can go down here to vendors. We'll bring up all of our vendors, and there is Allied Insurance. Notice we have the Allied Insurance name, and down here we told it that this is always paid out of Wells Fargo. and that it is always going to use the account insurance expense. So if you set up a vendor and you fill it all out, this information can be pretty valuable and save you time in the entry. If you're doing a one-time check or something of that nature, probably not necessary, but for things that you repeatedly pay, you ought to set up a vendor, and also it makes it easy to track all of the history for that vendor, which appears right down here. Here are all the recent payments to Allied Insurance. And again, you could click on any one of them and look at it. So that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, just give me a holler, and be sure when you're finished with your session to log out and then close the tab in your browser. And that's it.